All right, we're going to call the meeting of the Board of Public Works to order on September 30, 2025. Would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Shea,
Present.
Commissioner Lemon,
Present.
Commissioner Spedia,
Present.
and we have Commissioner Gregg is not able to join us tonight. Mayor John Donfus,
Yes.
and we have Alderman Dowd here with us also.
First item is number 3, Commissioner Shea. Or number 2, sorry, Commissioner Shea.
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, item 3, Commissioner Lemon.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Public Works meeting of August 28th, 2025.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes. Public comment. Is there any member of the public who wishes to address the Board of Public Works on any of the items? Wastewater, item A. Item A, Commissioner Spetia.
Move to approve the user warrants as presented.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, item B, Commissioner Shea.
I move to approve the purchase of Hatch brand monitoring equipment from Hatch Company of Loveland, Colorado, in an amount not to exceed $34,496.40. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund, Wastewater Account Classification, WRF.
Good evening, Dave Boucher, wastewater superintendent. This is for the purchase of process monitoring equipment at the wastewater facility, which was due for replacement in FY '26. The equipment that's being replaced is 2 aeration tank DO probe controllers to measure dissolved oxygen. We also have 3 pieces of equipment in our wet weather building, 2 turbidity meters, 1 to measure raw water and 1 to measure settled water, and also a pH meter to replace in the wet weather facility. Hawk is the brand name that we use. It's replacing kind. You happen to answer any questions?
Anyone? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item is item C, Commissioner Lemon.
I move to approve the repairs of the South Emergency Generator by Craft Power of Woburn, Mass. in an amount not to exceed $29,950. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund, Wastewater Account Classification, 54 Property Services.
Dave Boucher, wastewater superintendent. The wastewater facility has 3 emergency generators on site. During the last inspection, it was determined that a self-generator was due for a replacement of the radiator due to heavy corrosion. We put it out to bid, and Craft Power was the low bidder on that. We believe they're qualified to do the work. I'd like to use them. You happy to answer any questions?
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, item D, Commissioner Spetia.
Move to approve the purchase of 2 Vogelsong brand grinders from Westcore Associates, Inc. of Rentham, Massachusetts, in an amount not to exceed $40,849. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund, Wastewater Account Classification, WRF.
Dave Boucher, wastewater superintendent. We have several grinders throughout the facility that are inline grinders, grind sludge to protect the pump that's after it. These particular pumps, the digester sludge transfer pumps, transfer sludge to our main building for process treatment. This is an FY '26 scheduled purchase. These pumps are due for replacement due to age. This went out, we got 3 quotes. Westcore was the low bid, which is replacing kind. Do you have any answer any questions?
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Item E, Commissioner Shea.
I move to approve the purchase of 3 Vogelsang brand sludge transfer pumps from Westcore Associates Incorporated of Rentham, Mass. in an amount not to exceed $60,180. Funding will be through Department 169 wastewater, fund wastewater, account classification work.
Dave Boucher, wastewater superintendent. We have 4 Vogelsang pumps. These were due for replacement FY '26. One of them had to be purchased early, but there's 3 left to replace. These pumps were really good pumps. Unfortunately, they get old. They change some of the elements of the pump, so they're due for replacement. They make them more efficient now. So these are an in-kind replacement for these pumps. They pump sludge up to our dewatering process. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Parks Department. We have item A, Commissioner Lemon.
I move to approve the purchase of a 2025 Massey Ferguson MF4707 from Big Boy Toys LLC in New Boston, New Hampshire pursuant to Sourcewell Contract 082923-AGCO in the amount of $102,488. Funding will be through Department 177 Parks and Recreation, Trust, Activity, Surf.
Good afternoon, everyone. Brian Conant, Superintendent of the Parks Department. This is a scheduled surf replacement. This is going to replace a 2014 Kubota tractor. We use these tractors for several different things. Unloading and loading supplies, fertilizing our athletic fields, using them to do multiple different cultural practices to the athletic fields, not to mention the softball and baseball infields and the garden up at Greeley Park. I'd be happy to answer any questions on this if you do have any.
Commissioner Shea.
The one that it's replacing, will that go on backline?
That will go on a back line and serve us until it no longer can. The tractor we are trading in is a 1999, so, which has been replaced before, gone to the backline unit. And this is kind of what we do.
That's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you. Now the Solid Waste Department. Item A, Commissioner Espitia.
Move to approve the purchase of one 410 P-tier John Deere articulated.
You skipped solid waste
Oops,
there.
sorry. Move to approve change order number 1 for $77,665, an additional cost for installation of the temporary cap extension on the Phase 3 landfill with Charter Contracting Company of Boston, Massachusetts, and the revised contract amount not to exceed $861,955. Funding will be through Department 168 Solid Waste Fund, Bond Activity, Gas Expansion, Zigzag. Sorry about that.
No problem. Jeff LaFleur, Superintendent of Solid Waste. So this is a change order to the capping project. We were capping Phase 3, as you guys all know. This is my third change order, or third time that we've come back to cap it. We're at the very top of the landfill, and as we were getting closer, we noticed that there was more trash that we could actually finish capping. So that's what this change order is to continue the cap, finish it, and put gas collection in there to help alleviate any emissions problems.
Commissioner Shea.
And are there any, height limits to the height of the landfill that we're capping or anything like that? And are we in line with all of that?
Yes, sir. We were actually almost at capacity. That's why I did the capping. Once we open up Phase 4, we'll have 30 or 40 years of time. The landfill will settle down. That's why this is just a temporary cap. Once it settles down, if the city wishes, they could go back and capture whatever airspace is from the settlement of the landfill.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Now the Fleet Department. Item A, Commissioner Shea.
I move to approve the purchase of one 410 P-tier John Deere articulated dump truck from United Construction and Forestry for the total purchase price of $703,500. Additionally, approve the purchase and installation of radio system, in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 168 Solid Waste Fund Bond Activity Surf.
Good evening, Michael Rush, Fleet Superintendent. This scheduled purchase is for the Solid Waste Department to replace their very large articulated dump truck that they use every day in landfill operations to move material around the landfill. It also is going to be used in part of the Phase 4 as we need to move materials around the landfill. We're also going to keep the existing articulated dump truck as a backline unit during that construction because there's going to be so much going on up there to have the ability to have multiple of those trucks used at the same time. Like I said, this is a scheduled surf purchase. It comes with a very well warranty with a 5,000 an hour service package, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have on that.
Commissioner Shea.
What challenges would we face or what accommodations would need to be made if this was not approved?
There is corrosion to the undercarriage that is starting, particularly to the hydraulic system. The valving will eventually have to come out. That's could be 2 to 3 years down the road. We've already made repairs to the hydraulic tank due to rust and corrosion. The environment up in the cell is very unique because trash gets wedged into all different areas of the truck. As much as the operators try to clean that out, there's a lot of abrasion that happens once it gets into those crevices, and it kind of just wears on the metal parts. And that it holds all that moisture in there, and that contributes to a lot of rust and corrosion. We figure probably like 2 to 3 years, and we can probably trade it towards another piece of equipment potentially.
And so this is a planned, if I may, and this is a planned purchase?
Yes, it's a scheduled purchase.
So I see that this one is by way of bond versus trust for the SURF. Can you speak to why that is?
That might be a question for the finance director.
Actually, the assistant director.
Sorry.
Hello, Carol O'Connor, Assistant Director of Finance. It was approved as a bond, and as they set up the schedule for SURF, they have certain items that are bonded and some that are paid through the trust fund. This resolution was already approved to be able to bond these vehicles.
By way of the Board of Aldermen.
Mhm.
And so the Capital Equipment Reserve Fund is geared towards setting aside funds to fund purchases, right? I mean, I'm just thinking of like the flow of dollars. So should I elaborate or rephrase? Yeah. So for this particular purchase, we're taking out a loan or would take out a loan to make the purchase. Is that correct? That
Correct.
one. The Capital Equipment Reserve Fund is set up in a way so that we are allotting money over time to prevent us from being in that position. Is that correct?
Correct. But the way the whole fund is set up, it does factor in certain vehicles, generally of a higher value and a longer life, to be bonded.
And I see Alderman Dowd's ears are perking up. I don't know, maybe not. For me, the Capital Equipment Reserve Fund is there and to be funded for the purpose of planned purchasing. The act of bonding is different than that. And so that's something to weigh as we consider this particular item, which is fairly expensive. If I may, I don't know if anyone else has
I can maybe
insights
get
on
into it a
this.
little bit. Well, first of all, yes, it would be better if we were doing it with cash. No question about that. The surface has been funded around $5 million a year. And there's a lot of equipment to purchase. So with only that amount of cash, there's not $700,000 to to buy one piece of equipment and be able to buy everything else. So for some years now, the bigger items have been bonded for a relatively short period of time, the projected life of the vehicle. Ideally, it should work as you propose, which would be, there would be, over a period of years, you would accumulate $700,000 and then have cash to do it. But not enough money has been funded to, save. I mean, basically, we put money in and spend almost all of it. Maybe there's a little bit that carries over, $1 million or $2 million, but that's it. And it just has to do with a short-term impact on the tax rate. To really, I mean, if you put $10 million into this, plus the 5, or what, those are just out of the air. You would be able to accumulate cash and wouldn't have to bond, but you'd have to take that hit to take $10 million and tax people for it and put it into SURF.
Is it fair to say that maybe some 8 or 10 years ago, we were in a place where we were putting much less into SURF, and we are now in a position where we are actively catching up and still catching up from that lack of funding the reserve fund?
I would say it's been, short like this for quite some time. If you go back a long time, 30 years, I don't know. There used to be...
More than 14.
There used to be a long time ago a reserve in here, and you were actually accumulating cash against each piece of equipment, and when that piece of equipment came due, you had cash to buy it. So, for example, in this situation, let's say for the last 7 years, we'd allocated $100,000 for this piece of equipment for 7 years. There's $700 in cash. We buy it. But sometime in the last 35 years, I would say, in order to keep the tax rate down, somebody basically spent, didn't budget enough to do that and just spent money to buy current, and thereby, didn't tax people, didn't tax the taxpayers to maintain the reserve for the benefit of the short-term tax rate. But as you suggest, long term, it would be better to do it with the cash, because then you don't have to pay any interest.
And is there some amount of kind of strategy or like slow plan to build that fund up, or are we kind of treading water in that regard at the moment?
Well, I haven't explained how the entire picture, in the sense that we are trying to improve it. For some years, we've been funding SURF totally out of surplus. So it's not even in the budget. It's not funded till surplus comes in.
Okay.
And various people have made the valid point that really it should be in the budget. So this current year, there's $2.5 million in the budget, as against this year, meaning fiscal 26. There's $2.5 million in the budget versus fiscal 25 when it was 0. So the plan there is to, in fiscal 27, increase the $2.5 million up to $5 million in the budget, and potentially to continue to improve the situation as you've suggested. So we're making a step in the right direction, but still far from perfect. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, good, very good, thank you. That's good insight. And if I may,
Yes.
what's the sense of immediacy on this purchase? I know you've kind of touched on that. If you could reiterate.
I can speak to some of that.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Superintendent LaFleur.
Jeff LaFleur, Superintendent of Solid Waste. So the urgency of this is if the older piece of equipment breaks down,
Can't do anything.
I can't cover the landfill, and that's part of my permit. I have to use cover every day. So if this, let's say, 60-yard dump truck breaks down, I'd have to borrow a dump truck from the street department and try to drive it over trash, get it in, load the, the cover there, and do it. This piece of equipment is very essential to our operations here at the landfill.
And the existing unit, is that going to be backline or what? Yep, and for the record, he nodded his head yes. And then for, I had one more remaining question. What's the delivery time on this? It's probably up there, I imagine.
Actually, they have one in stock.
Oh, okay.
That was by accident. Somebody ordered one and canceled it.
Yep, so it's an opportune moment.
So pending, as long as everything goes through, as soon as the PO is issued, delivery would follow probably a couple of weeks after, once they do the in-service and all that. So it's very rare for that to happen.
Yeah.
We just happen to get lucky.
That's good. All right. As far as questions go, I'm satisfied. I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Anyone else? All right, this is item A. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, Commissioner Lennon.
I move to approve the purchase of two 2026 Ford F-350 four-wheel drive pickup trucks from Grapponi Ford for the price of $98,473 each. Pricing for this purchase will be off the New Hampshire state bid contract. Additionally, I move to approve the purchase and installation of radio system in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 161 Streets, Fund, Trust, Activity, SURF.
Michael Rush, Fleet Superintendent. These two trucks are scheduled SURF purchases for the street department. They are used by the foreman on a daily basis, including wintertime for snow operations. These two trucks are essential to the operation every day, even on the weekend when they get called in for special digs. They carry all the tools that are needed to replace guardrails and fix sinkholes, amongst other projects that they do throughout the city. It carries all their tooling. It also uses traffic blockers when they're working in the roadway. There is two trucks that will be moved to the back line. They'll be kept primarily for snow operations. I did take a few trucks off the road and sell at auction from the street department, so these would fill those voids there, so that we could ensure that we still have adequate snowplow trucks during our winter operations. I'm happy to answer any questions you have on this scheduled purchase.
Commissioner Lemon.
Do these trucks, is the $98,000, does that cover like the plow stuff, or is that an additional package?
That is a total equipment package. That is the service body that houses the tools and the snowplow package.
Thank you.
These two particular trucks don't have tow packages.
Alderman Dowd.
Just out of curiosity, stored inside or outside?
Unfortunately, these trucks are stored outside due to room constraints.
So just thinking ahead and get it on the record, if we had a maintenance building where we could store them inside, might get a little more life out of them.
You would be correct.
That was actually.
Commissioner, speak to you.
How much damage does the salt do to the undercarriage, given that they're outside as well?
Well, our employees do a pretty good job at trying to rinse them off after every storm. When we have back-to-back storms, it gets a little tougher. But even after they're washed, even after a storm, they're still on the road every day. It's very difficult to wash the amount of equipment that we have on a daily basis with one wash bay. But we do the best that we can. We try to rotate those out. Having something a little better would definitely expand the life of all of our equipment. But they do try to do a pretty good job at rinsing all that salt off. But it is a very corrosive environment. They're exposed to the salt probably more than the average vehicle, just because of what they do.
Commissioner Speedy mentioned the undercarriage. Very difficult for us to get the undercarriage.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, unless you're like laying on the ground and trying to squirt the water up in the rail, if we had something that would go up and wash all that out, that would certainly help. We have looked into some options, but we just haven't gotten there yet, let alone we don't have the room down there to maybe do something like that. But the undercarriage, that's probably what gets hit the hardest with the salt. That's where frame separation starts happening, components start loosening up, fuel tank straps, springs, suspension components.
Commissioner Shea.
And when we auction vehicles, and we may have covered this before, but I forget the answer, do those funds go into SURF?
I believe they go into the general fund.
Is it worth considering when we auction vehicles to have those funds go into SURF?
Yes.
That's probably out of our wheelhouse, I imagine, here in this room, but just
Correct.
for consideration.
I think that's correct, but actually, we have to check, but I think that's correct.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been discussed.
So Alderman Dowd, you said it's been discussed, and
Yeah, there's a few of us that think that should go into SURF, and rather than the general fund, what we have to look at is how much money are we talking about and the process for doing it.
and what the changes in the way that we consider things would
We
be.
just need like an ordinance.
Yep.
Or something, some action by the ordinance.
Yeah, personally, I'm of that mind, and I appreciate that you've already started talking about it. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item C, Commissioner Spitia.
Move to approve the purchase of one 2026 Ford F-350 four-wheel drive pickup truck from Grapponi Ford for the price of $104,588. 588, sorry. Pricing for this purchase will be off the New Hampshire state bid contract. Additionally, approve the purchase and installation of radio system in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 161 Streets Fund Trust Activity SURF.
Michael Rush, Fleet Superintendent. This is, again, another scheduled SURF purchase for the street department. This is pretty much a like-for-like of the last motion. The only exception to this vehicle is that it'll come equipped with a ladder rack and a different type of bumper for the type of work that particular foreman does with that crew. It's an essential piece of equipment, just like the other two. It's also involved in daily operations and heavily involved in snow operations as well. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on this purchase.
Commissioner Shea.
And I apologize, I meant to ask this on the last item. The $5,000 for the radio system, is that per vehicle?
It is per vehicle. It should cover 2 radio installs.
5,000
It's
should
depending on the
cover
type of vehicle. The reason that we put, not to exceed the 5,000 is because that we have to cap it at some point. But there is some equipment that's sophisticated where how they have to run it that could get up to that amount. And radios are pretty expensive in general. I think they're around like $2,800 from Mr. Mansfield that we purchased them from. But that includes installation as well.
And so you think that within this 5,000, that should satisfy the need for these particular vehicles and their equipment?
For the pickup
combined?
trucks, yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Item D, Commissioner Shea.
I move to approve the purchase of one 160 P-tier John Deere excavator from United Construction and Forestry for the total purchase price of $295,400. Additionally, approve the purchase and installation of a radio system in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 161 Streets Fund Trust Activity SURF.
Michael Rush, Fleet Superintendent. This is a scheduled SURF purchase to replace the street department's existing excavator. There is a trade-in on this piece of equipment, so that'll go towards the purchase price and keep that a little under the scheduled SURF amount. It'll be replacing a 2012 Caterpillar, which is showing corrosion to the undercarriage track system, hydraulic system, another vehicle that we'll probably have to redo in valving. It's not exposed to very salty environments all the time, but it is an essential piece of equipment that we use to dig up the roads and those emergency digs when we have the sinkholes and other projects around the city as needed. I'm happy to answer any questions you have on this scheduled purchase.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item E, Commissioner Lemon.
I move to 410 P-Tier John Deere backhoe from United Construction and Forestry for the total purchase price of $211,000. Additionally, to approve the purchase and installation of a radio system in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 161 Streets Fund Trust Activity SURF.
Michael Rush, Fleet Superintendent. This is a scheduled surf purchase for the Street Department's existing backhoe 15071. It's a 2015 Caterpillar. It is also used in daily operations throughout the city, including sinkholes and other projects. It's also a primary snow fighter during the wintertime. It is starting to show corrosion to the undercarriage and the hydraulic system, much like the other pieces of equipment. There will be a trade-in towards this piece of equipment, which will help keep that cost low. It comes with a 7-year, 4,000-hour warranty, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have on this piece of equipment.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item F, Commissioner Espitia.
Move to approve the purchase of two 2026 Ford F-250 four-wheel drive pickup trucks from Grapponi Ford for the price of $62,256 each. Pricing for each for this purchase will be off the New Hampshire state bid contract. Additionally, approve the purchase and installation of radio system in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Funding will be through Department 77 Parks Fund Trust Activity SURF.
Michael Rush, Fleet Superintendent. This is a scheduled surf purchase for 2 Park Department vehicles that the foremen use on a daily basis. The only special equipment that these will be equipped with on these F-250s is a plow package and a toolbox in the back. Other than that, they're standard pickup trucks. The trucks that we will be replacing are starting to show signs of undercarriage corrosion. We did remove several vehicles from the Park Department this year due to corrosion, so we'll move those 2 vehicles to the back line to make sure that they have essential snowplow for winter operations as well. I'm happy to answer any questions you have on these purchases.
Alderman
Just out
Dowd.
of curiosity, does Mr. Mansfield have the staff to get these installed fairly quickly because you've got like 8 vehicles?
Yeah, some of it's, they don't all come in at once. Some of these vehicles are 14 to 18 months out, so they kind of trickle in one or two at a time usually. I don't typically see a pattern where I'll get like 5 in one day or 1 week. It's usually scattered out over months at a time. And then when he does get backed up, there is subcontracting that he subs out to help alleviate that.
All right, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Now we're on to engineering. Okay. Item A, Commissioner Shea.
I move to approve the sewer service permits and fees as submitted.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, Commissioner Lemon.
I move to approve the poll license petitions as listed in the staff report.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item C, Commissioner Spitia.
Move to approve a drain layers license for Underground Testing and Services LLC of Goffstown, New Hampshire, in accordance with Nashville City Code 255-19, issuance of drain layers license, and authorize the Division of Public Works to temporarily suspend the license if work is found to be unsatisfactory during an initial 6-month probationary period.
Good afternoon, Mark Saunders, Deputy City Engineer. So the motion before you is to approve a drain layers license for Underground Testing and Services. We reviewed their package, as well as we have worked with them. They've worked with a lot of contractors in the city, and we hope for a favorable recommendation for their drain layers license.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Item D, Commissioner Spitia. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Shea. I didn't want to overload you. I'm sorry with that. Commissioner Shea.
I move to approve the engineering services contract amendment with IMEG Incorporated of Nashua, New Hampshire, in the amount of $175,000 for professional services for the 2025 sewer rehabilitation program, funding through Department 169 wastewater, fund bond activity, sewer rehab, and 169 wastewater, fund wastewater activity, CSO flooding.
Mark Saunders, Deputy City Engineer. The motion to be before you is for a contract extension with IMEG. IMEG is formerly Hayner Swanson. They're a local engineering firm. They've helped us out with multiple programs throughout the city. Very reliable contractor. This amendment is to get us through the next couple months of construction, and then also as we look forward into '26 to help put plans and a bid package together to go out to bid for future construction. I'm happy to answer any questions on this.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item E, Commissioner Lemon.
I move to consider the moratorium restoration waiver request from Liberty Utilities for work on Lake Street.
Mark Saunders, Deputy City Engineer. So this moratorium waiver request is for the restoration piece of the restoration piece for the moratorium. Typically, the restoration would require the mill and pave to go curb to curb. The impact that Liberty had into Lake Street was very minimal, so we support them going to the center seam to limit the whole construction process, and we feel like we get a similar product. I do have a representative from Liberty here who can talk to it a little more in detail if necessary, or help answer any questions.
Ian Crabtree from Liberty Utilities, Manager of Engineering. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Anyone? All right, Commissioner Shea.
Could you further enlighten us as to what you're doing?
So, yes. So Lake Street was paved in 2020. We had a couple of gas main replacement projects last year on Russell Street, or Russell Ave and Lake Ave, which involved us encroaching into Lake Street slightly on the short side, which was still under moratorium last year, which now isn't. Those two streets, Russell and Lake Ave, were resurfaced. We were just getting ahead of the city, paving for that. And like I said, it was the short side of Lake Street that was encroached. And I have some pictures here, but we're just requesting, instead of going curb to curb for the full grind and inlay, just to the center line.
And you can access the remainder kind of by way of the trench from the side, or
It's all,
it's
it's
just?
all new piping
Okay.
now, so
Thank you, appreciate it.
you're welcome.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item is item F. Commissioner Espetia.
Move to consider the hardship request from North Street Properties to excavate and replace the water main in Franklin Street.
Mark Saunders, Deputy City Engineer. I do have a gentleman from North Street Properties to speak to this hardship request.
Hi everyone, Derek Lawton with North Street Properties. Just here before you to get a hardship request to add. We're adding 2 units to a vacant commercial space that's been unoccupied, underutilized for many years. The city, with the moratorium with the roadway, we are asking to tap into the water line and bring in a new water line into the 2 units.
What's the address here?
15
What's the
Franklin
address?
Street.
What is it? What's the number?
15 Franklin Street.
15. Any questions from anyone?
What's that, 15?
Commissioner Lemon,
Street?
15, yeah.
Yep, so currently it's a 6-unit building. In the commercial space in the bottom, we're adding 2 units, so 2 more apartments, which currently we can't tap into the current water lines. We're going to tap into the street.
So how far up is it from, say, is it on parallel with where Bonhoeffer's is?
Yep, it's right across the street from that.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next, we have administration, which means the director's report.
That's information. Right. So Beck and Belucci continues to make progress on the Veterans and Taylor Falls bridges. Final paving was completed on both bridges on September 5th, so everybody should feel a little relief for at least a little bit until we start the lighting. Park staff, you may have noticed, have changed over for our plants for the fall. Everything looks really beautiful on Main Street. And the Parks Department is very busy and will be well into the fall with all sorts of cultural practices, including aeration, overseeding. This is a picture of Murray Field being aerified. We had record attendance at Wheels and Wings, over 3,300 people. That's always a very popular event at the airport. And it was on Saturday, September 20th. The weather was perfect for the event, and we even collected many, many donations for 68 Hours to End Hunger, so from visitors. So overall, it was a great day. Our next big event is on Saturday, October 18th at Greeley Park, our annual Boo Bash, and we'll have hay rides, pumpkin decorating, a haunted house, bonfire, and trunk or treat. So, and that's always well attended. The street department crew continues to rebuild the Holman Stadium press box inside and out. They replaced the wiring and lighting, added shiplap to the interior walls and stained them, and a new deck and a set of stairs were also installed. The street department was out on Mill Pond Road with a mulcher head attached to the mini excavator, clearing away overgrown brush to improve visibility. This is some pavement marking at Holman Stadium. We added some additional handicap spaces. That's what you see there. This is a crew repairing 2 catch basins on Chester Street that were in need of repairs, which will help improve drainage and hopefully prevent flooding. We have our next household hazardous waste collection in Nashua on Saturday, November 8th at 8 to noon. This is our last event of the season. The Four Hills Landfill and Nashua Recycling Center will be closed on Monday, October 13th in observance of it's actually Columbus Day now. I don't think we call it Indigenous Peoples' Day. And all curbside collections will be delayed by 1 day that week. This is particularly confusing because City Hall will be open and this building will be open, the landfill will be closed. And that's because of the fact that the way our AFSCME contract reads, they have this day off. So, with the exception of Parks. Parks works on Columbus Day. The rest of Public Works does not. So, but this building will be open. The curbside collection of oversized items will be ending for the season. The last date to request a pickup will be Friday, October 10th. And collections will be ending on Friday, October 17th. However, soft yard waste will not end until December 5th. So that'll be going on for quite some time. And you may have noticed over in the recycling center, Positive Street Art created a new mural for us. So that's all freshened up. So, and it looks nice. So. Any questions?
Commissioner Shea.
For the Main Street plantings, and I don't expect you to know this, and I wish Superintendent Conant, no, I'm sure he has stuff to do, but he would know the answer to this question. The canna lilies, do you know if we overwinter the bulbs, or if Moran's has responsibility for that? And the reason I ask is, when we lived on French Hill, my neighbor, Maurice Willette, he would grow canna lilies in his yard, and he would save them, and the bulbs would get like to the size of a basketball. And he would put them in the basement over winter, and he would bring them back out, and that's how they became so massive and beautiful coming out of his tiny corner lot. And so I'm just curious.
I know that Morris is not, because that's the Parks Department that does that. I'm not sure if they do or not. I don't think that they do, but I can look into that for you.
Yeah, because we have so many of them, and they're so beautiful. They did such a fantastic
I know,
job.
they are amazing.
And the amount of plant material that's there, and I'm sure there's a pretty significant cost to buying bulbs that come in that big. It might be worth kind of putting them in a cold place, like in the basement of one of the old buildings at Greeley Park or something like that.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I will ask that question.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Yes, Alderman Dowd.
Yeah, I talked to Dan Hudson about this earlier, and now it seems to be growing up again. Sightlines. I've had complaints about two places. One is off Exit 8, where coming out from the hotels going across where Kessler Farm Road is. That sightline, you can't see cars coming, and people try to turn on a red light. And if there's a car coming down there as fast as they normally do, there's going to be a big accident there. So they will cut down in the spring. They've grown back.
Okay.
The other place is down at Buck Meadow Road, where the cars turn off of Main Dunstable on the Buck Meadow, that the plantings have grown up again, and the sight lines there are dangerous.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know.
Yep.
We'll address that.
You finished?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioners' comments. Do any commissioners have comments?
Go ahead.
No, please.
Commissioner Shea.
On the topic of Indigenous Peoples' Day, I feel like there's a lot of stuff coming out on a national level that's low-key or in oftentimes high-key, degrading to really important conversations that we've had. The spirit behind naming this holiday Indigenous Peoples' Day comes from a very good place. And I just want to state an open objection to that walk backwards. I think that, not towards you or towards us as a city and how we recognize it, just on the broader topic of naming the holiday, it's not in alignment with the best that we can be. I don't know if we have any power over that locally. If we do, I think that's something we should weigh. And I think that dissent in these times is incredibly important. I also feel, and I haven't fully worked this thought out, but I was inspired by, I want to say it was the sheriff of a county out in the Midwest somewhere, who made the choice not to bestow the honors of his county with the lowering of the flag to half-mast. And I feel like that is something that is so deeply valuable and meaningful. And it feels to me that, again, on the national level, we have continually cheapened things, and I did research on flag code because it was my impression that when flags are ordered to half-mast, it is a requirement. However, I have learned that that is not the case in kind of digging through this. I am sure that in this moment, we do not have a procedure for dissent. And I'm hesitant to ask that we look to establish one. But again, I feel in this time it's so important, and it would behoove us in our community to consider whether or not the things that we are accepting and going along with are in alignment with our best selves and our best way that we can show up for one another. And I'm gonna have to think more about that and maybe talk with other commissioners and the mayor and see if there is, if there's some value in establishing procedures of dissent. I also recognize that even that conversation in and of itself can be divisive, and so that's why I have hesitancy. But I think it's a thing that is worth reflecting on. And that's all I have for comments.
Looking to Alderman Dowd. So I think we passed an ordinance designating Indigenous Peoples' Day, right? So that hasn't been changed locally.
No.
Okay.
So that's what,
Under Alderman
I guess
O'Brien's
that's what we
objection.
called it. Yes.
Okay, then I'll refer it to Indigenous
I guess
Peoples' Day.
Director
I
Cummings is here and wants to.
I thought it was just trying to refer to the federal holiday.
Yeah, no apology necessary.
Sorry, I have to weigh in here.
No, I know they tried to change it at the federal level, but
So Tim Cummings, Director of Administrative Services. So actually, just for the record, there was a state law passed at the last session that we are officially required to refer to it as Columbus Day.
Oh,
And,
really? Wow.
On any official communication from the municipality, any printing of a schedule, we have to refer to it as such. So I just want to make sure everyone is aware of that. That was a decision made by Concord last year. Thank you.
May I ask?
and I think on the books, we have Indigenous Peoples' Day. Go ahead, yes, Commissioner Shea.
Is there a part of that state law that includes punitive measures should we dissent?
I would have to check.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how the state law reads. I just know that's what there was a state law that passed that says that we are required to do this.
It's nice that they say that. If there are no punitive responses to it, I don't know to what extent we have to honor it. It's worth looking into, I think, and determining if there is some consequence, and if there is no consequence, then we have to weigh the moral consequence of going along with that. And if there is a consequence, we have to weigh those things. Because I think it's important, even the little things are important. So really appreciate the insight.
And what did you come here for a particular reason?
We have the joint meeting after. Yep,
Oh, what time?
5:30.
All right, well,
Sorry.
Manny and I are a little,
Yeah, sorry.
we're kind of pressed. We have a 6 o'clock thing we're supposed to get to.
Yes, that's why it'll be very short.
Okay, all right, so
So maybe
I
we
would-
can look further into that. But
Yeah.
I'm glad
he'll
Director Cummings
check
came
it
to
out.
Give us this insight.
Any other commissioners' comments?
Yeah.
Commissioner Spitia.
Thank you. I just want to say excellent job with the Wings and Wheels event, or Wheels and Wings, I forget. But it was incredible. I went with my 19-month son, and he had a wonderful time, and we took some lovely photos. So it was, and we also did apple picking earlier in the day, so it was like, perfect, like New England day. But I thought the staff was wonderful. Everyone did a really good job, and I know that the public, it looked very crowded. There was a lot of people there, so that was wonderful to see so many families and so many people just out there. And so I just commend the staff for always, putting together excellent programming, and and I just want to say thank you to the staff.
Any other commissioners? All right, personnel. Item A, Commissioner Shea.
I move to approve and unseal the non-public minutes for personnel from the Board of Public Works meeting of August 28th, 2025.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, Commissioner Lemon.
I move to accept the retirement of Matt Iserman. His last day will be September 19th, 2025.
I guess it was.
Yeah, it was, yeah. It's actually yeah,
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
his last day was.
Item C, Commissioner Spitia.
Move to accept the retirement of Michael Cole. His last day was September 10th, 2025.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Motion passes. Item D, Commissioner Shea.
I move to accept the resignation of Tenzin Funsok, mechanic first class, effective September 19th, 2025.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Motion passes. All right, we have a non-public session. Commissioner Shea.
I move by roll call that the board go into non-public session pursuant to RSA 91-A3 2B, the hiring of any person as a public employee.
That has to be by roll call, right? I think. All right, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Lemon?
Here.
Commissioner Gregg? Commissioner Espedia?
Yes.
Mayor Donches?
Yes. All right, we're going to go into non-public session. Can you talk to the video? All right, having completed business, a motion to adjourn, I think, is in order. Oh, wait, sorry.
I'm waiting for a green light in here. There's one. Okay.
Commissioner Shea.
I move by roll call to seal the minutes of the Board of Public Works personnel non-public meeting of September 30th, 2025, until such a time as the majority of the board votes that the purpose of the confidentiality would no longer be served.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Lemon?
Yes.
Commissioner Espedia?
Yes.
Mayor Donches?
Yes. All right, so the minutes, the motion passes. Now, I believe, having completed all business, motion to adjourn is in session, is in order.
One other thing
All right.
Sorry. before-
Director?
I just wanted to point out that our new Division Operations Manager, Ryan Lennis, is here tonight, and I wanted to, I'll meet him, and maybe he can chat with you a little bit after the meeting. I just wanted to point out he's here.
Welcome.
I'd be happy to. Thank you.
All right, sorry.
Nice to see you. All right, is Commissioner Lemon?
I move to adjourn this session of the Board of Public Works.
All right, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, and the meeting of the Board of Public Works of September 30, 2025 is adjourned.